Hi everyone, welcome to October. October's newsletter is already here. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. So let's get into it. Grab you a cup of coffee, a nice cup of tea, and let's just jump right in because we have a lot going on. As you can tell, the energy towards the middle to the end of September got pretty chaotic, got a little crazy. Really jumped in with both feet there, didn't it? So, October is going to be a little bit of the same. However, I am going to give you some cool tips and some interesting ways to work with the energy so that you can use it to your advantage. And then the rest of it will be like, okay, now I know what to look out for. Now I know not to jump at this because this is what the energy's in, right? So when I do these videos are never meant to scare you, or never meant to make you think you can't do something. The only thing these videos, or I would like for these videos to do, is to give you some information on the energy, what we're sitting in and why. Give you some really good days or weeks or different times to get those things done you want to get done. That would be the best, the right time, right? That would be the best type of energy to work in for those things. And the rest of it is just take what you love and just let go of whatever you don't care for. All right, let's get to it. So I just pulled a few cards. I'm using a few different decks today. I pulled 5 cards for the month of October because I feel like we're still still have a foot in September, but we also have a foot in October. And then I feel like it's really strange because even the energy at the 1st of November felt like it was in this entire card spread here. So I did pull a couple of extra cards this time. I haven't looked at them, but as usual, I work on my report and do all the technical stuff first, and then I pull my cards on screen because I think it's fun. So I'm going to turn them over right now, and let's get into it. Ooh, okay. So our first card, and this is the Windwalkers deck. You know I love this deck. So our first card is Tailwind Progress. Momentum carries you forward effortlessly. Say that twice or once. This is a dynamic card. So I would imagine that many of you have progressed in these last few weeks, even though it doesn't feel like it, because there is so much going on. Sometimes it's hard to really feel that progress coming from us, but I guarantee you other people can see that. So if you're feeling a little bit like maybe a little bit doubtful, or maybe you don't feel like you have as much confidence as you think you would want, maybe ask someone close to you, ask them, what they love about you, or ask them, have you seen any growth here or there? Because I guarantee you they have. So if you need that little boost for this month, do that, because I think this month is going to bring up some different feelings. It's going to bring up some different doubts and fears. But this is only to let these things go. It is only to work on your inner self. It's only to make you more of a sovereign being. Because yes, we need people. And yes, we need them in our lives. But we also have to be so sovereign that we still make our own decisions, that we don't take other people's emotions on to ourselves, that we can separate these things. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't be kind, doesn't mean that you don't love people and you're not empathetic. Absolutely you are. Most light workers are, and most of the people who watch this video very much are light walkers. So remember that when I say these things. So our second card is creativity. Fair winds, sparks innovation, and fuels creation. So remember, we have moved into the Aquarian age. We are also moving into Libra at the end of the month. That also is very creative sign. It also fosters a lot of balance. So I would imagine that you were starting to get really sparks of information, or these little tidbits of information, if you will, that are coming in. So make sure you're writing those down, because they're going to come to fruition very soon. So write those little creative sparks down and start to put those out into the universe, and start to really try implementing different things. Try changing things up a bit, because it will really get you out of your comfort zone, one, but it will also allow you to really jump into that creative spark, and allow you to progress even further. And it will also, what I'm being told, it will also help you to go within to see where you need to strengthen areas. So that's kind of cool. So when I was pulling these cards, I kept feeling like I needed to switch decks. So this is my universal deck, and this is Constellation Cassiopeia, and this card is Pride. And this card fits so well because of some of the information I'm fixing to give you on the technical side of the astrology that we have going on. This is going to be huge this month, huge in October. So we're really going to have to, pride can be a good thing. So you have pride in your work ethic, you have pride in keeping your home clean, you have pride in different things, right? Well, you can also have pride, which is where it's on maybe the negative side of, you're too proud to admit when you're wrong, you're too proud to allow others to help you, that sort of thing, right? So it's going to be huge this month. So this card absolutely fits this. The next card is from the Archangel Metatron deck from Amanda Ellis. Amazing woman. I love her cards and love her YouTube. So check her out. Love her. The card is red, safety, strength, and power. Also has the number 55 on here, and for me that is big change. So there's big change coming. Safety is going to be very important this month. We will see things change very quickly, and you may see things change very quickly in your areas. So if you are traveling, be sure that you're paying attention to your surroundings, the news, as in what's going on in your specific area that you're in, and be very, very mindful of this. There are going to be areas that have not been affected before, safety wise, so be very careful. There's a lot of weather patterns that have changed, and we are really kind of regressing back to, from what I've been reading on the weather part, is some weather that we've had in the early 1900s and even the late 1800s. So some of these weather patterns are not necessarily getting worse, they're just changing, and that's normal for Earth to change and to cycle into different things, just like she cycles into different seasons. So some of us may see weather and weather patterns different than what we're used to, so be very mindful of the weather, and be alert. If you're starting to get warnings about things, be very, very alert. Use your intuition, yes, but be very alert. And strength and power is going to be huge this month as well. So make sure that your boundaries are strong. If they're not, let's work on those this month. And also, if maybe you need to redefine your boundaries, or maybe you need to look at it differently now, because maybe you're doing different type of work, maybe you've gone more into the intuitive side, so you will need more boundaries. So just make sure that you are really looking into that and ready to change those things when they need to be changed. And going back to the Windwalkers deck, we have the last card, which is Shapeshifter, shifts forms and reveals hidden truths. Boy, have we gotten some of this year. Hidden truths, honey. Everything's coming out. Good, bad, ugly, all of it's coming. So just know there's going to be more of that, and a whole lot more of that. So I actually love this picture because it is just everything flying up. Everything is moving, everything is changing. And so we're really going to have to pay attention to what's going on. But we're also going to have to step back from a lot that's going on. So your media is really running with anything that it gets. It feels like that they're no longer are actually doing any research. And then the ones who are doing the research and are looking at it are actually being gaslighted. So I do ask that you watch what you're watching, and maybe just do a little here and there, and don't dive into any of the drama, because as I have been telling you this entire year, as soon as one thing comes out, something else is going to come out to be different. Okay, so it's changing so quickly. I would not dive into any of it, because it's only going to mess with your energy, and it's only going to cause you to get angry and possibly be unkind to others, and we don't want to do that. So let me go into some of the highlights that we have for October. And these cards will come back into play, I'm sure. So the first week of October, we have huge emotions. They're going to be fluctuating. This could bring in old, outdated feelings, old, outdated ways that we do things. Remember, I said that your confidence may wane a little bit this month. And feelings of fear and doubt may be coming in. But this is to show you where you need to strengthen either your boundaries, strengthen how you do things. And this is really going to show you where things need to change, or maybe where you need to reevaluate things. Okay, so we have a full moon in Aries on October 6th. So remember, Aries is bold, they are impulsive, very much me first energy, which isn't always a bad thing, because we do need self-care. We do need, hey, what about me, right? But be careful to not, if you're working with somebody and you are working in a team environment, then you need to be careful to look at everybody in the group and not just me, or I want to do this or I want to do that, right? So you're going to really have to work on your partnerships, if that's how you work, especially in your relationships. So your spouse relationships, that's going to be huge this month too. Although October is very good for romance, when you're sitting in this type of energy, it still can kind of complicate things. So make sure that you're thinking of your spouse too. Okay. So like I said, very much bold, very much impulsive. So I would harness this to evaluate your own life. We spoke about that. Things that you'd like to move forward with. I would lay low as to not say something you cannot take back. Because remember, Aries energy can be very impulsive. So if you are a fire sign as well, this may be double for you, or even an air sign that may really ramp that up, tornadic type energy. So make sure that if you don't want the relationship to be done with, you may want to hold your tongue and wait for a week or two. Let's get closer to the new moon so that you don't, like I say something that you can't take back. Okay, so now on a global scale, again, this is impulsive energy. So I would imagine that this energy may have huge effects on the front of all countries. So maybe the country's not agreeing, more aggressive tactics. I keep seeing the word posturing. And it's going to be kind of an overall, it has to be my way attitude. So just know that going in. So if you see things really escalate on the world front, know that. That is also indicative of the weather at that point too, because the moon really does affect the weather. So you have a full moon in Aries, bold, impulsive, and kind of an aggressive type energy. So be mindful, like I said, of where you are. Watch your weather. I do see most likely, unfortunately, some hurricane type activity. So I haven't watched the weather lately, but I would imagine that that's probably, even though normally our hurricane stuff in the Gulf is usually more in like late August, early September. However, I think that that's kind of changing now. So I would not be surprised if we start seeing hurricane type weather, like for Florida, North Carolina again, and up that side, going up. So if you are in Maryland or New Jersey, that sort of thing, make sure that you're really paying attention to the weather. I see more flooding. I did see somewhere, I can't remember what country, but they just had a huge typhoon, I believe, and quite a bit of damage. This energy is also indicative of the earthquakes. So I did see a few of those this week, and I think that because Mother Earth is changing so rapidly, and because of the energy that we are consciously putting into the earth, that is going to cause more earthquakes. So I would very much watch your thoughts and watch what you're putting out there, whether it's on social media, whether it's just you thinking, and try to bring as much love and Christ consciousness into your energy, to try to tap down some of that that bold, aggressive energy. But I do see it coming out in that. So the more love we can foster within ourselves, within our families, within our neighborhoods, if we can continue to do that and grow that love out, that is really going to help Mother Earth. I really feel that. So that is going to be like the first part of October. But we do have a new moon on October 21st, so that is going to bring in some compromising. It's going to bring in some more balanced energies. October would be a great month to observe how you balance your own life and how well you are setting and sticking to your boundaries. Remember, we spoke about that earlier, because we had the creativity, we had the progress, we had the pride, we had the safety, strength, and power here. Remember, you are very powerful, and your thoughts become things. And then we have the shapeshifter energy here again. That's going to reveal hidden truth. So please stop bending over backwards to please those who are never really satisfied, or those who maybe never do the work, right? You really want to help people, but they also have to do the work too, right? So you can't do it for them. And make sure you're not giving more than you need to give. I really feel like our energy for the month of October is going to be very important, and we really need to only spend our energy on the things that are super important to us, the people that are super important to us. So I really feel like we're going to be bringing that in and really working with that type of inner energy. So this is going to be a good time to really see where you need to change things. So like I said, you can only show them the way. They must also buckle down, and they must do their own work and go through their own transformations. So don't hinder them from doing that, okay? This is in personal and professional areas. So don't be surprised if you see others' true colors, their true intentions. their true hearts. I think we've seen a lot of that play out through the media this past month. So I feel like we're going to see more of that. But I also feel like a lot of us have gone within and we're like, you know what? I don't want to be like that. I don't want to teach my kids to be like that. So I think that, sometimes chaos and crises and things that just seem very, very bad, very evil, I feel like Spirit and God really uses that sometimes to show us where we need to change, how we need to grow, and also shows us that there are good people out there and there are wonderful people out there that will help, right? So this is a very powerful month. Pay close attention to what you allow. And like I said, make sure that whoever is receiving your full intention is really using that they are not just giving you what you want to hear and then not doing the work, right? So make sure that your energy is placed in the right places. It's huge this month. You're gonna hear it a lot. I feel like the energy in that is just wrapped all up in this reading today. So I will probably say it again. So be sure that who you need to so make sure that who should be receiving your full attention and energy, and who you need to step away from and allow those connections to go by the wayside. Like I said, you saw a lot of that last month, I would imagine. So after the full moon, we have a planetary aspect. Neptune retrogrades back to Pisces. So this could dredge up issues that were relevant over the past decade. And Neptune will remain here until late January of 2026. So don't be surprised if you have some old issues, you have some things pop up that have been from the last decade, that you're circling back around. So it's either going to circle back around and you're going to see how you deal with it better, or it's coming back up for you to let it go. Okay. So let's get into Halloween energy. This Halloween, the energy is a little interesting. It's a bit challenging. So I would be very careful if you have Halloween parties, if they're going to be like huge parties, but you don't really know the people. It's, like maybe it's put on by a place or something like that. Be very mindful of this energy. It feels really challenging, honestly. And I will say this, when I was doing this, I felt kind of some anxiousness during the day before, the day of Halloween, and the day after. So just know that is temporary, and it should, if you know that those are coming up and you know that energy's there, you can find ways to really help your nervous system during that time. So just be mindful of that. I really recommend you using your intuition and really checking places out before you go. Check out where the exits are. If you go, don't go by yourself. I really feel like there's some interesting energy around this time, so just be very careful, okay? Energies will be ripe for conflict, and this includes the world stage. So be careful if you're going out around people that are drinking or that are in a heightened state of reactivity, because it could get a little around this time, okay? So like I said, there's much happening around in our world at this time. And I really believe that most of the people who watch this or read this are really walking in the light. So make sure you're shining your light far, far and wide, and do it in your own unique way. And know that you are doing that. Know that you are bringing love into any situation that you come into, and you just try your very best to deal with whatever comes up or whatever's in front of you with love as much as you can. Now, obviously, you're going to need strong boundaries. I also recommend strong spiritual maintenance and faith, along with limiting your time with all media, because it's going to get even more chaotic than it was this past month. So that'll be fun, right? Let me see, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, so when I was really jumping into this energy, and I've been looking at things in a different perspective than just what's going on. I try to look at it in a spiritual way. I try to look at it in a astrological term, in a mankind growth type of way. And when I was looking into the videos that have been surfacing, the media, what everybody's saying and playing, hearing this and that, Spirit really had me tune into the AI. So AI is not inherently good or bad. It just is. It's very neutral depending on the user, right? So what they were showing me is that we are moving into an age of technology that we have never seen before, and it is so easy to take someone's face and take someone else's words and put their words in their mouth, and you almost, unless you know that person, and they're just a public figure, it is going to be very, very difficult to tell what is real and what is not real. So, and I've even seen a couple of creators go, hey, look at this, I am not selling this, but they actually put, and it sounds just like their voice. So I see many business accounts being spoofed or stolen or this or that. So be very, very careful, and don't believe everything you see, because most of it is fake. And it is only going to grow as our technology grows. So be sure that you're doing your research if you see something, and you really research it, because also something that Spirit kept pushing me into is to watch certain videos, because what they're doing is only giving you tidbits of what that person said. If you go and actually watch the entire video of what that person said, it is in a whole nother context. And this is spiritual people. This is everywhere. So just be mindful of that. Spirit wanted me to tell you to be mindful of that, because they're seeing it, and it is really, really getting crazy. And a lot of people are doing these videos and doing this to get likes, to get subscribers, because they make money off of it. And they want to elicit strong emotions. And as soon as you give that strong emotion, you've given away your power. And I think that is what this safety, strength, and power card is all about here. That we really need to sit in our own energy and our own power and not give that away. So remember that, okay? It really knocks you off your foundation when you allow these illicit strong emotions to come up. It knocks you off your foundation. And so it can cause energetic shifts within you, and it can make it difficult for us to get back to balance quickly and easily. So that's why I say I really suggest strong boundaries and strong spiritual maintenance. Really make sure you're clearing your energy and you're not sitting in strong emotional situations constantly. Now, things happen in our lives, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about us having the choice to sit in that type of thing, right? And so just be sure that you're paying attention to that, because like I said, it's going to get, I don't want to say worse, but it's going to get, you're going to see it more, and because we are so wrapped up in our technology now, I recommend really, really stepping back from that. So If you're having trouble doing this, please reach out. I would love to give you some of my tips. My team has given me so many ways to rebalance my energy quickly, and I'd love to share those tips with you. So please reach out and do your best to stay out of all the drama. You can still stay informed without jumping into the drama, okay? And I'm thinking about maybe doing more videos on this and easy ways to shift your energy. So if you're interested in stuff like that, send me a text or an email and let me know if that's something you would like. Because I may start to do that. That may be something that might be helpful. Maybe it's a 5-minute video or a 10 or 15-minute meditation that helps you to shift your energy pretty quickly. So if that's something that you might like, let me know, and my team and I will work on that for you, okay? So I had a sweet sister send me the cutest thing, and it is perfect for October. And it says, a wise girl once said, let that shit go, and she lived happily ever after. So that should be your quote for October, to let that shit go and know that you are wise and you are ready to face whatever comes up. And this energy, although there are times in October where the energy is a little feels aggressive, may feel a little bit like that, these are just the energies we're working with, and it doesn't mean we have to be in it, right? So we can observe it and then we can react in a different way. So hopefully that's what this video helps you to do, is to know that you have the strength, you have the power to change anything, and that we are shapeshifters, we are chameleons, we can change. And so know that you have that power. Creativity is going to be very high this month, so make sure you're writing your creative ventures down. If not, going ahead and implementing them. It's going to be a great time to do that. So work with this energy. Do know that if you start something and you put it online, if it gets bad reviews, unless it is constructive criticism, I would leave it. It's just because of the energy in the air. Let it go. But other than that, go do, create, continue progressing. Don't forget that, we are starting to move into the cooler months in some areas. I hope we get cooler here. So remember that when we move into the cooler months, we often go within, and that's what October is starting for us to do. If you celebrate the Day of the Dead, that is a beautiful time to do any ancestral work, to honor your ancestors. So remember that is in October as well. Beautiful month. And I think that's just about it for our energetic weather report. We have some beautiful classes, so make sure that you check the class schedule that I send out. We have so many amazing things. I am doing something a little different. So everyone knows I do readings, I do energy work, but I'm really looking into wanting to do some elevated intuitive coaching. So many of my students already do psychic work. They have a lot of them have taken like my Reiki classes and that sort of thing. And so if you're looking for something that is a little bit more in depth and is a little bit more tailored just to you, I'd like to start doing some of that work if you are interested in it. So it's going to be an intensive course. We'll be working together one-on-one basis, and this can be done in person or online. And my spirit team and I will help you to integrate your gifts and elevate your communication with your personal spirit team. So I think that's going to be very important moving forward, to really be able to work with your spirit team, and also bringing your spiritual path into your everyday life. I notice that sometimes people take different courses or they do different things, but they have trouble incorporating it into their everyday lives. So if that's something that you're interested in, let me know. I'd love to do a 30-minute consultation with you, completely free, to see if it's if our energies match, if it's something you want to do. I always do readings and that sort of thing, usually on Tuesdays. So if you're looking to get a reading, let me know. Like I said, Reiki classes, I do those. I am starting those in October. So if you are ready to further your Reiki practice, let me know. And I'm also doing, I've had a couple of students reach out to do some refresher Reiki courses. So if you haven't done Reiki in a while and you just want a refresher course, I have that out there too. I've come up with a whole course for that. It's a lot of fun, and a lot of fun. So check me out, see if that's something that you want to do, and you can always email me at mysticsoulweaver@yahoo.com for any of that. So we have a spicy October, but we have some wonderful things that are coming up. So continue to do your best. Reach out if you need anything. And I will be back in November for your November weather report. So, yeah, I guess that's it. All right. So, anybody who wants to stay on, I will be pulling some cards for your free card pulls. So, let me grab another deck. So I think I'm going to start with Between Worlds card deck. Let's see. Do I want... What do we want to do? Do we want a theme? Let's see. I'm going to do 2 card piles today. Couple of ways you can do this. You could place your hands over your heart and ask your team if card pile number 1 or card pile number 2 is best for you. You could listen to both and see what resonates. However you feel. Okay. You know, they usually tell me to stop. Okay, so let me see what we got that popped out first. Okay. So it looks like we're going to have a theme. And let's pull the rest of these. Okay. So our theme for this reading is the architect. So remember that you are the architect of your body. You are the architect of and the co-creator in this life. Remember that. So in this reading, we have dissatisfaction, the universal body, multiplicity, healing, the muse, compassion, solitude, resolve, scholarship, and our last card is rage. So for me, this is telling me that this card is going to be this card reading is going to be about you. So remember, the theme is the architect. So it feels like whoever this is for, you're feeling a little dissatisfied with what's going on. You're feeling dissatisfied with everything that's going on in the world. You're not quite sure what you're wanting to do. You have a bunch of creative ideas out, but you're really not jumping into one completely. And you're just kind of grasping at things here. So there's a lot out there. But to me, what this is saying is you really need to focus on your healing. You need to focus on your daily life, your mental state, as in, are you bringing in happiness to your life? Are you bringing in peace? So what are you doing that is causing you to be unhappy and causing you not to be peaceful? So that could be your routine. That could be what you're putting in your body. It could be maybe who you're surrounding yourself with is huge. So make sure that you have discipline and be mindful of what's going on and what's going into your body. And this is not just food and drink. This is media, television. What are you watching? What are you reading? Those sorts of things. So remember that you are your own muse. You are your own muse. And remember to have compassion for yourself. You know, we often give so much compassion to others, but we lack compassion for ourselves. We are human. We have emotions. We love hard. And especially those of us who really walk in the light, we often irritate some souls because we bring in so much light and we see so much good. That it's not that we don't see the bad, we see the bad, but sometimes we keep that energy of good, we keep that white light always right there with us, so that we can give that to others. We can give them hope and strength. And sometimes that irritates souls. So remember that you need your solitude. Okay? You need your solitude. There is a resolution coming here, but there's some things you need to learn first. So this could be like book work, but for me, this actually feels more like you need to learn more inside, more about yourself. So it would be a good idea to, if you have a spiritual practice, to pray about this, to work with your spirit team, ask them what needs to be worked on, ask them how they can help you. If you're not quite sure, my team would love to try to help you with that. That is one of the things in how I work, is I work with my spirit team, and they will work with your spirit team, and we can have a conversation about that if you'd like. Make sure that when you're doing this, that when you do toss up some of these things that you either forgot about, or you're peeling another layer off, that you don't get into a rage about it. Because we often think, oh, okay, well, that's done, I don't have to worry about it anymore. Physically, maybe, but we often have the same things happen over and over again until we react differently, or until we set a boundary that is so strong that it won't happen again. Okay, so remember that, and don't be mad at yourself because you didn't do it the first 5 times. Okay, we're human. So just remember that you've got this. You are the architect and the co-creator of your own life. And even though you may feel a little bit of dissatisfaction with the way things are going right now, know that you have 100% control over this, and you can change your circumstances just by changing your thoughts, just by working on you, working on your daily habits, and getting into a very peaceful and harmonious, balanced energy. When you do that, everything changes around you. Okay? That's a good one. All right. These cards up. Okay, that one jumped out. Bet that's our theme. Let's see. This is for card pile number 2. Remember, we're only doing 2 today. same thing happened a minute ago. All right. Okay. So, our theme for this, whoever picked card reading number 2, I cannot get my words right today. Forgiveness. That is your theme. So, we have the Death card, Universal Spirit. We have Valley of Detachment. We have Simplicity. We have Humility. Ancestor, or Ancestry, my bad. Productivity. Liminality. The Wayfinder. And our last card is Withdrawal. So for me, this card spread is very much about forgiveness. I would imagine it's forgiveness for yourself and forgiveness for others. There is something that needs to be put to bed. There's something that needs to die here. And it's possibly a story that you've been telling yourself, or it's a story about someone else that you're telling yourself. And Universal Spirit for me in this deck is God, your team, your spirit team, angelic energy, is trying to really have you to look at your relationships and to remember that that people do change, and especially when they're young, they change because they're trying to figure out the world. They're trying to figure out who they are. They're trying to find their voice. They're trying to find their strength. And so remember that just because they were this doesn't mean that they can't change and they can't move. Remember that if you are staying in a, this feels like for a couple of different people here, so it may jump around. Remember from the last one that you are your own architect. If you are in a relationship, and say romantic relationship, and you are wanting to forgive this person and start anew, okay? Remember that you have to let everything else go. You can't keep bringing up the same thing over and over and over again. You're going to have to detach from that if you want this to work, if you want to move forward. And you have to realize that you have to forgive yourself for making the choice, and then forgive the other person for maybe making you feel bad or not living up to whatever your expectations were, right? And vice versa. So there has to be some simplicity that comes in here, in your life, in your relationships, in your work. All of it feels like it's here. And you have to have humility. I am always so grateful for everything that I have. Even in the hard times, even when, I have a bill to pay, or I'm not sure how this is going to work out, or, I'm always thankful and grateful for everything I have. And I think sometimes we get to maybe used to what we have, and we don't see that everything could change in an instant. And so I really think that anytime that you're maybe at work, or anytime that you see people growing, that you need to really, for me, when I see people growing, I get so excited, and I just want to, dote on them and go, oh my God, you're doing so great, and, we have to lift people up. It's not always about, you. I've been asking, Spirit and God to, use me. How can I best serve? And, let me be your vessel. And I start I've been starting my mornings that way. And it's very interesting to see the things that will come up, or the people that reach out, or that sort of thing. And so I'm just doing my best to do that. And so this reading is very much about forgiveness, about if you have an ancestor or someone that, and this could be further back, this may be people maybe you've not met, but maybe this ancestor caused a rift in your family, and it seems to be the same old karma or the same old crap over and over again, and people in your family are still repeating this stuff, and you're like, no, I'm done with this. This stops with me, right? So make sure that whatever you're jumping into is productive, and it's not the same old story or the same old stuff over and over and over again. Okay, there is so much newness and so many new opportunities out there, but you do have to open your eyes. And it's not just your two physical eyes, it's your third eye, it's your spirit eyes. And ask your team, ask God for help, ask God to show you the way. And sometimes when this happens, we have to withdraw. So many times, if we are constantly doing stuff, constantly go, 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 Spirit will bring us back, will withdraw. They may create a situation that makes you withdraw and go, oh goodness, okay, I feel like I'm kind of alone here. But maybe that alone time is your growth. Maybe it's Spirit taking people out of your life that were very controlling, that didn't see you for who you really were. Maybe these people, maybe they really love you, but their story that they tell themselves is constant, and it was actually affecting your energy. So they may have to pull people out of your life and kind of get you into a withdrawal state so that you can rebalance your energy. Remember when we talked about October and your spiritual maintenance? This is going to be huge this month. So this really feels like a death of old stories. It feels like a death of old relationships, a death of really building on something new, really moving into a place of respect, a place of boundaries, and really growing into the person that you've been trying to be all along, but you had to shed so much stuff to get there, right? So this really, even though there's a lot of work involved in this, I really feel like you're going to come out the other side really well, very strong, and you're going to find a strength that you've never felt before, and you're really going to shift. Really going to shift into more of a simple life. It'll be very productive, but it's going to be more simple. I noticed recently that I'm doing this as well. I'm, making sure that I'm not telling myself these stories that don't exist anymore. I'm no longer, well, this relative has this, or this relative did this, and da-da-da. Okay, that's fine. That was them. We're not doing that. We're not perpetuating that, right? And so I've really worked on, how can I help? How can I be of service? How can I really simplify my life? How can I simplify and bring in my energy and not have it so scattered in different places, or scattered and given to people that are not using it to the best quality, right? So I'm really sitting into a new era, I feel like. So there's been a lot of lessons this year for a lot of us. There's been a lot of deaths, and I don't necessarily mean physical deaths. I mean deaths of us changing, us moving, us growing, and knowing that when you have Spirit, you have God around you, that you're limitless. You can do anything, and you can really, really change your situation. So, all right, I think this is it. Card pile number 1, card pile number 2. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know which one resonated with you. If you have any questions, let me know. This has been great. I feel like I'm losing my voice a little bit here for some reason. So I am going to say that this is it. This is your October. It's going to be a beautiful month. There's some work that needs to be done. There's a little bit of crazy energy out there, a little spicy energy. So hang on to your unicorns. But you're going to be fine. Continue your work. Continue your path with God, with Spirit. However you practice, that is beautiful. And I love you. Have a wonderful October, and I will see you next month.